tracker or some way of seeing what we're doing at the moment. And I'm going to show the kind of this Markdown-based approach of doing this. Obviously, we could move things into a GitHub issue tracker, and I've done that. For now, we're going to try this. Certainly for me, I find this less heavyweight. I've already got stuff in Markdown, I already have my knowledge base. Can I also track issues? So the pattern I've got here, first of all, I explain is I have a standard now set up that I have for many of my projects. So we can ignore assets and Excalibur. Assets is just a folder here that is for storing images and stuff. And it's just a convenience because I can configure Obsidian to store everything by default there. So I can just paste, for example, if I just paste an image or I paste a PDF, it will go in that folder. So we can ignore that, and we can explore also the Excalibur folder, which is, for drawings. I don't even know actually what drawing we have in there, but okay. That we can ignore. Okay, so let's close that for a second. Now, what's really is the kind of, I just want to go through is the classic structure that I have here, which is projects. I'm going to call it ref for reference. And then I have a meetings folder as well. And this projects and reference. So reference is, let's start with meetings is obvious. It's where we store meeting documents and notes if we can. And, normally just date, year, monthly. And then we have projects, which are projects, things we're working on normally with a time. They have an endpoint. They have some kind of deliverable outcome. And then we have what I'm going to call reference, which is where we have like reference information that's maybe sometimes projects are referring to, but maybe they're common. So for example, we bought a tractor. And I think that we now have a tractor entry, and there's some information about the tractor in the tractor reference here. So for example, and it's going to work better if you're in Obsidian, but basically, there's some reference information about it. This is a procedure about how to basically do certain things on the tractor. There's a purchase receipt for actually buying the tractor and things like that. So that could have been in a project, by the way, and it probably would have maybe initially been in a project about buying the tractor, but then you kind of want to move it into reference so that you can find it easily again. Yeah?
Move it into a reference? I don't understand that part.
So there's a reference folder. Mm-hmm. I often want entries about the tractor. So maybe, like, for example, the purchase receipt. But if I ever have an issue, I don't have to be digging through, which project was it where we reference, it's like your filing system. Maybe there's a project to, for example, get your car insurance. But at some point, you've got your car insurance, and then that car insurance document, most of the information about getting it, all the different quotes you got aren't really relevant. They can just stay in the project. But the kind of actual car insurance document, that's going to be important going forward. Yeah. So in this reference folder here, there's this entry about the tractor. Okay. So the thing is, what we're missing at the moment is, great, I've got all these projects, but I would like an overview of the projects.
Where is the entry about the tractor in the reference folder?
Well, if you scroll down, there's a thing called tractor.
That one.
Yeah. Okay. And it's not going to work as well. It actually is working quite well there. And so, okay. So, what we have this set up. The question that we're coming to today. So that's like, I think just one simple, what happened to screen? Oh no, cancel, sorry. So that's just like basically the layout of a knowledge base. And what we're going to come to next is how do we organize projects? So the issue we have at the moment is we've got all these projects, but I would like a list of the projects. I would like to see the tasks in the projects that I need to do, all the things we might want to do in like project management or task management. Can we do that in simple Markdown type setup, a Markdown knowledge base, particularly with Obsidian, and if we wanted to publish with Flower Show? Well, we'll come to that next, now that we've seen the basic layout that we have here.